Welcome back to Great Taste of Manitoba and Dairy Best Desserts with Dairy Farmers of Manitoba, Sarah Cahill. I think the miracle is narrowing it down to 3 desserts, but somehow we've managed to do that. And we're on to number 2, which is banana cake, kind of a classic, let's take it to your book club, serve it when you're meeting the parents, that kind of thing. Just a real good classic dessert and not at all difficult to make.
No, not at all. So we're gonna start off by making just like a classic cake batter.
Okay.
And so we're gonna use buttermilk in this cake batter, and it's because we know that when we use buttermilk, it tends to make a more moist cake. And that's what we're really aiming for with this particular cake. So, I don't know about you, but I don't have buttermilk at home in my fridge all the time.
I do this all the time because I don't.
And so, yeah, so we're gonna add an acid. So whether it's lemon juice or vinegar that you've got in your cupboard or fridge, that's what we're gonna add. So this is 1.5 tablespoons to 1.5 cups, okay? So it's kind of the equivalent. So if you're using 2 cups, 2 tablespoons to 2 cups, and so forth.
And now it's got to sit for about 10 minutes?
Yeah, that's probably about right. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to take the opportunity to then make our cake batter.
Let's do it.
So I actually have made the majority of the cake batter, and that's because it's a really simple batter. So it starts off with creaming your butter and your sugar, adding some eggs to it.
Countryside Farms Vita eggs.
Yeah. And then we also added some vanilla as well as our dry and our wet ingredients. And so that's where our buttermilk comes in. So we alternated those, and then we've got our nice cake batter. And so what makes this special is the banana for the banana cake. So we've got our mashed up ripe bananas. Something that's really easy.
Well, and this is the thing, like all of those ingredients you just listed, typically you'd have them, and if there's any one thing I have in my freezer, I won't have anything else, but I'll always have like 4 bananas in there that I've saved from certain death that I chucked in there. Maybe I'll make banana cake. And so it is very convenient, right?
Yeah, and it just kind of kicks up the, your plain old cake a notch, right?
Yeah,
so, and that's exactly how many we do need is 4.
Yeah.
So it's about 4 mashed bananas.
Kind of the magic number with banana cake, right?
And we added a little bit of lemon juice to those bananas so that they didn't get even more brown than they already are.
Yeah.
And that just keeps your cake looking nice and light.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's your batter.
That's
so then your batter goes into a 9x13 pan, and then you bake it. And the trick with this, slow and low.
This is pretty cool. Like I've never actually seen a recipe where for such a low temperature.
Yeah, so it's 275 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's very low. Usually it's like a 350.
Yeah.
And it's an hour and a half. But again, this helps to prevent it from drying out. And again, because it's a more moist batter, I think that's why.
And then the other trick to it is that once it comes out, after that hour and a half, you pop it right into the freezer.
Yes, into the freezer, which is really strange. But again, it works and it helps to keep its moisture.
It's all about moisture.
That's right.
Okay.
And so 45 minutes. The other thing I really like about this trick actually is that then the cake is brought down to a cooler, more room temperature, and then you can actually ice it.
Yeah, because I want to ice it.
Yes.
I don't want to have to wait.
Speaking of, let's make some icing.
Cool. All right.
So we're going to make a buttercream because what else would you put anything on cake, right? But
I don't know.
buttercream. And this buttercream is a little bit different. It's a little bit lighter and fluffier, but it still has that great taste of the butter and the texture of the butter. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a paste. So this is cornstarch, which we're going to add to our pot, and then a little bit of salt. And then we've got some cold milk, which we're going to add to it. So I'll get you to add the milk.
Is this about a cup?
Yeah, it's about a cup. Did you know that there's about 300 Manitoba dairy farmers here in our province?
I had no idea it would have been that many. I mean, obviously we knew that there were a few,
And
a lot, but 300.
300, and they're all family owned and operated.
I grew up on a dairy farm. I have a very special place in my heart for the cow. I love your apron. I want to get me one of them aprons.
I think we could make that happen.
Oh, sweet.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
And now, did you grow up on a dairy farm here?
Not in Manitoba, in Saskatchewan,
Well,
and it was
close to
very
here.
small. Yeah, it was smaller, but because a lot of these farms are huge, like there's hundreds of cows.
Well, about
right?
100 cows is the average milking herd here in Manitoba. So actually not that large when you think about it.
Yeah, no, I guess not. Okay, that's interesting.
So we're going to actually let this cook, and it's going to thicken up, and it's going to form a bit of a paste. So you want to cool it, of course, before you're putting it into your creamed butter.
Right.
So I've actually got a cooled version over here. You can see it doesn't look very pretty. It's pretty pasty.
But that's what it'll end up.
This is what it's going to end up looking like. So we're going to put it now into our creamed butter and sugar, which we did before we started
this up, okay.
So this is creamed butter and icing sugar. We're going to add a spoonful.
Do you want me to just start this up?
Yeah, you go for it. Yeah, we're going to do that. And then we're just going to keep slowly adding our paste in, and I'll try not to get into your way.
All right, not to
That
worry.
would be awful, hey?
Well, worse things have happened.
That is true.
And will.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
And just a little bit more. And I really like this one because, again, it makes it a little bit lighter.
It is, and also the color is
going to be lighter as
Yeah.
well. You're right.
And then you want to put that vanilla in there too,
Yeah, and if
hey?
you actually wanted to maintain a lighter color, you could certainly use a white vanilla.
They have that?
Yeah, they have a white or a clear vanilla, and then it prevents it from getting that sort of brownish or yellowish
Yeah.
tinge to it.
But really, it's not even so much about the color, it's about the taste. And so we'll give it a couple of seconds
right.
here, and voila. And I'm gonna give it a little taste, because,
Yeah.
you know. Oh yeah, you can tell a cow's been involved with that. And of course, what it looks like at the end of the day is that. So absolutely fantastic banana cake, nice and moist. And when we come back, we're gonna do chocolate cheesecake parfaits right here on Great Tastes of Manitoba.
You're watching Great Tastes of Manitoba, brought to you in part by Manitoba Agriculture, Food and Rural Development.